Hello again. In the second part of this story, I want you to notice, ladies and gentlemen, one chosen by Almighty God. That is, I believe I've been chosen by God for this particular office at this moment in time. That's very important. But I'm presenting myself not as Tom Darwood, but as Joseph 77. Why this strange title? Well, my life, I'm a retired carpenter. I have no academic qualifications, no profession behind me. I'm not a doctor of physics or whatever. Imagine that in 1972, I decided to be a doctor. So I'd now be Dr. Thomas Darwood, hopefully. But my life emulated or reflected the biblical Joseph. By that, I mean those two incidents in the first talk is compatible to this biblical figure called Joseph, the Joseph who stood before the Pharaoh of Egypt with a multicolored coat. Now I want you to remember two important things that happened to him, which reflected what happened to me in that first talk. The first thing was when he was young, a boy, he had dreams that he was going to be elevated to high office. And when he told his brother this, they made his brothers very jealous. And they eventually sold him off as a slave. The second thing that's important to Joseph was when he was a slave and he was a great housekeeper to one of Pharaoh's ministers called Potiphar. His wife took a fancy to him and made an amorous advance. And Joseph declined, and because of that, he was thrown into prison. That's the first part of his story. Those two incidents reflect what I experienced in 1970, which I haven't told you about, which I'm going to tell you now. I also experienced an incident which was something like the biblical Joseph. That is, I was accused of making an advance towards a woman, and it was nothing of the kind. She completely misunderstood what my words meant. And to this day, 54 years, I've not been exonerated. So that compares to the biblical Joseph who was falsely accused of something which did not happen. The second thing which is comparable to the biblical Joseph, when Joseph, the biblical Joseph, had dreams, he was going to be elevated to high office. My elevation to high office was in that 1st of April 1972 regarding the Daily Telegraph article and the film on the papacy. So it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that you keep these two incidents in mind, that my life reflects this biblical Joseph, because it is going to be very important later when I explain to you how when Joseph went into high office and how I am going to present my case to be considered as the future Archbishop of Canterbury. So here endeth the second lesson. Thank you.